What's up, guys? Dustin McDangles here, back with another video. This is the franchise mode series with the San Jose Sharks, getting into our second season. And if you guys missed the last season, I will leave a link in the top right hand corner right now for you guys to go check out the rest of the series so far and how we have gotten to this point of the San Jose Sharks in our second year. As we will go ahead, we have gone through the re-signing phase already, and these are how the lines are stacking up right now. I made a little tweak between last episode and this episode, moving Hurl up to that first line, bumping Kane down to the second, moving Strome to that center position, giving him the +3 on this entire line, which should be nice. And then just can't really figure out sort of our depth lines with our third and fourth line, so we might need to make some trades here to wheel and deal some position players just in and out of the lineup. As we also look at the defense, we can't really find sort of that perfect combination to get some pluses in there. Besides the second pair with Larson and Vatanen, Brett Burns honestly has been dropped essentially to a top 4 defenseman exact, so potentially could try and get a trade out of him. Or we could go ahead and move Carlson depending on how things are going in this preseason. But we can wait and find out as our free agents. There aren't too many left on the market that are decent. Brandon Montour is a restricted free agent, so we can't really go after him, unfortunately, just because we don't really have the picks to do so. So that's kind of unfortunate, as he is sort of the best option right now for at least a player, but we're just not going to be able to do anything with him, as we could potentially sign some guys to the AHL and sort of boost their depth, as we actually have too many contracts on hand, so we won't be able to do that. But the team is looking semi-decent, guys, as we'll go ahead and actually take a look here at our AHL squad. I'm not too sure where they stand. They have a decent lineup with 70s throughout. I don't know why this guy is on a bottom line. Get him up there as well as this guy. Now we'll leave him on that line. But our AHL team is looking somewhat decent, as we'll go ahead and take a look here at defensemen Ferraro and Roy. So our AHL squad is looking pretty decent. Might want to try and sign a goaltender, honestly, as it looks like we could use one. So I'll go ahead and try and sign an AHL two-way goaltender. And after looking it over, guys, I actually see Andrew Hammond, the hand burglar, is actually available. We do have some cap space to sort of offer him a position here. Well, honestly, 3 years for $775 would be a great sort of deal to try and get done for an AHL goaltender, just to sort of shore up the AHL back end. Would be great, just because the team is somewhat decent. But again, you never know what things will happen moving in the future. But he is extremely happy to accept that position as we get him in. And I don't know why Vatanen is on our sort of trading block, as I will have to get him taken off just so we don't get any offers for him, just as we have already just brought him in. So I will go ahead and update that here in between, as our team status is hopeful. So we'll have a lot of work here to do during this season with the San Jose Sharks. But I'm just going to sort of touch up a few things with the lineups, and I will catch you guys in just a second. So after touching up a few things with the lineups with the AHL, we will go ahead now and simulate up through this preseason and see how the San Jose Sharks do. We'll go ahead and simulate about halfway through the preseason as we go ahead and wait. I forgot to take Vatanen off of our trade block. I'm going to have to do that here after this quick simulation of the first 4 games of the preseason. And we are looking pretty decent, 3-1 so far in the preseason, but I'm going to go switch up our trade block and see if that will fix things. Alright, we have gone ahead and updated the trading block, actually putting Brett Burns on there and sort of tweaking some of the settings, as we'll go ahead and simulate up through the rest of this preseason, seeing what they do. I took Vatanen off the trade block. I wish that they would understand that we are not looking to trade Vatanen, as we just picked him up as the preseason comes to an end, finishing off 4-3. Not too bad, but honestly not great. Not what we want to see out of the team, but we'll go ahead and simulate up through the first half of this month and just see what the team does. Just taking a look here, waiting for things. Martin Jones has been injured. Oh my goodness. That is brutal. Oh my goodness, we're going to have to call up the Hamburglar from the AHL to bring him into the lineup and hope. Oh man, that's such a bummer, as our backup goalie is Khudobin. He's not awful, but not what you want to see. Him going down so early in the season is just a bummer to see. And let's go back to edit lines. Oh, geez Louise. We just sort of took this kid out of the lineup. Got to put him back in. Switch that up. So hopefully Jones will be back in the lineup shortly as we are going through this initial simulation. Things are looking semi-decent as a San Jose player has been injured, but it's an AHL player, so we'll go ahead and take care of that off screen. Getting back into the simulation here, guys, things aren't... Oh my goodness, we lost 8-2 to the Boston Bruins. So through the first month of... halfway through the first month of play, things aren't terrible as we're sort of splitting games here, taking another loss, which is unfortunate, to the New York Rangers, getting the dub against the Red Wings, hopefully against the Wild. Unable to do so, as what a wild trade there, but we are not getting rid of Vatanen, as we will go ahead and work our way through the rest of this month, trying to grind it out. And Martin Jones is back. We'll let him heal up here the rest of the month here, as it's just 2 games left against some Eastern Conference foes. I took him off the trade block, but teams are still going after him. Overtime loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but we will go ahead and put Jones back into the lineup as we look to simulate all the way up to the next month as we are getting through this simulation. Let me go ahead and fix this line and see what we got. After getting Jones back into the lineup, that is good things for us as we get our starting goaltender back, and we will go ahead and simulate through this month here, halfway through the month, just to see how things are going, see if we need to... Oh my goodness, he's injured again. What the heck? That sucks, guys. I don't understand it. We didn't even have him in the lineup for long. Oh my goodness, this is awful. Good thing we didn't send down Hammond, as we got to get him back into the lineup, as Khudobin is our starter. And okay, let's just... Oh man, I didn't mean to do that. Back into the simulation here with the Sharks, guys. Gonna go ahead and simulate halfway through this month as we are just outside of a playoff position, getting 2 big W's against Western Conference opponents before losing to the Boston Bruins. Getting through this month here, looking what things are going to be done, as we will just have our coach replace our HL player there. 3 big Western Conference wins as we get a nice little swing there. Got to sort of go in and start looking at some things here regarding the, let's see here, the scouting. Got to take a look here as, let's take a look and view draft class, see if any of our guys have been scouting for this upcoming draft. And Joshua Roy, honestly, been scouted. We have a couple guys scouting right now. Pinelli, we might want to try and scout him. As let's just go ahead and get that potential in comparison with him. Potential center pickup there. Trevor Wong, looking to be a really good player. Gonna need to sort of get a potential in comparison out of him, as things are looking good there. We do have a first-round pick in this upcoming draft, as we need to sort of get some scouting for these players. Just looking at potential in comparisons to start, as you never know where we will sort of end up in this upcoming draft, but we will probably end up around the 20 range, potentially, maybe even higher than that. This draft doesn't look like it is a good one, as, man, that defenseman, 6'3", not too terrible, but not what you want to see. This guy, oh God, you don't really know here who's going to be good and who is not going to be. Let's take a look at our scouts here, just assign scouts. Just taking a look here, we only have 15 scouts, so we probably need to sign some more. As how do we hire scouts? We'll go ahead and hire some scouts. Henrik Zetterberg can be hired as a scout, which is kind of cool to see. Let's see. We could use another Q and an OHL scout. As we'll go ahead and offer this Pajot guy. C's across the board. Low-key want to sign Zetterberg and sort of assign him to just a sort of junior position for scouting. As are there any other decent OHL scouts? Not really. As Sagan is sort of the last one we could potentially get. We'll go ahead and offer him a position just because we need to get some more scouts in here to be able to sort of get things going for just looking at things. Can we sort of change the region of the scout? Oh, we can. Let's see if we can change it to like a junior sort of region here. He's a pretty good defensive scout. Let's go CHL with this guy. And let's see. Not too sure. A- in the OHL. Honestly, send him there. Yeah, we'll go with that. See if that'll sort of get things going as region A- for the OHL, which is pretty cool to see just because we do have the fog of war turned off. So we don't really need sort of pro scouts, at least from my knowledge. So honestly, let's just go ahead and change this guy to the WHL as well. Just to sort of get some scouts in the region. C- in that region, D- and a D. So he's not the best of scouts for sort of juniors. So we can at least take a look here. Yeah, we might need to leave that guy, unfortunately, where he is. And we'll go from there. We'll see if we get those scouts hired in. And if so, we'll be able to get more guys scouting potential talent in the future. But honestly, a good end to the previous month of play here for the San Jose Sharks. Or halfway through the month, I should say, of November. As we will go ahead and get simulated through the rest of this month. Available to play the next game. Okay, we'll just leave him out for now. As we get up through this, Pajot will sign, which is pretty cool to see. Sagan signs with us. Awesome to see. Do we get Zetterberg as a scout is the real question. And we do, which is really cool to see Henrik Zetterberg accept one of our offers as we get 2 more victories against some Western Conference opponents, getting 2 big wins against the Ducks, beating the Golden Knights and coming up just short to the Edmonton Oilers, as we will go ahead and finish out that month of December with a very good month, guys. Getting a shootout victory against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And man, what a month of November that was for the San Jose Sharks, picking up some massive victories, sending us to first in the Pacific Division, tied on points, but must have sort of the upper hand, at least on win or losses, or sort of tiebreakers, if you could say so. And we're up there for top team in the Western Conference, just 1 point behind. So things are really buzzing here for the San Jose Sharks as Carlson leads the team in points here, guys. Things couldn't be any better. Brett Burns even doing a pretty decent job this year, having a good bounce back year. And our second line just buzzing with Strome and Evander Kane on it. First line sort of lacking a little bit. Zach Aston-Reese, 16 points in 27 games is good to see. Obviously, Sorensen having a down year, playing on the third line, which is expected to see. But honestly, guys, we could try and make a trade for a potential sort of third or fourth line player. So let's actually go ahead and browse the trading block just to see what's out there. Kessler, I don't want to pick up sort of his tab. He's sort of expensive. Alex Goligoski just got 1 year left on his contract. Let's just go through here to see what teams are offering. Kyle Okposo, 3 years left at $6 million. Just don't really want to take that on as he is kind of expensive. Jumbo Joe Thornton is on their trading block for the Carolina Hurricanes, along with Jake Gardner and Nino Niederreiter. Kind of interesting there. Having a down year. Unfortunately, we don't have any scouts in that region, so we can't really scout Nino Niederreiter. Jonathan Toews on the trading block. Patrick Maroon, 1 year at... that's actually interesting. He's having a somewhat decent year, and he doesn't fit any of our lines, unfortunately. Just going through here, looking through the trading block, seeing what players are out there. Luke Foudy on the trading block. Interesting to see there. Sort of newer draft pick. Anybody from Detroit worth going after? And Valtteri Filppula, does he fit any of our lines? He does not, unfortunately. Would have been a nice little shout. Bringing in a veteran player like him would be nice, sort of to make a push here in the middle of the season. Karl Alzner on the block. Don't really want to take on his salary. Nothing here. Georgiev on the trading block. 1 year. I just don't really need a sort of a backup goaltender right now. Tomasino on the block. Don't really need him. New Jersey Devils have Nick Bonino on the block. Fits all of our penalty killing sort of lines. Just not what we want to see. Nobody from the Oilers. Oh my goodness, Kevin Hayes. Look at that contract. $7 million. Wow, and he's not even doing anything. Only fits our second line, so not even worth the time of investing in sort of that. Derek Brassard. Oof, $5 million. $5 million for Steen, as he's actually would be 1 year. Could look. He doesn't fit any of our lines. Does Derek Brassard fit any? No, he does not. 1 year left on Tyler Bozak. He fits our second line, but we are sort of set with things on our second line. Going through here, nobody really worth noting here. Halak actually plays for Vancouver, which is kind of funny to see. Matt Stone, defensive pairing 3, don't really need him. Halak, don't need him. Vegas Golden Knights, ooh, wow, they actually have some decent players here on their block. This would actually be a good shout. Forward line 2, unfortunately, doesn't fit our lineups. Riley Smith, interesting, only fits our second line. I'm trying to think, on our second line is Brett Connolly, so we could honestly move Connolly down the lineup if we could sort of pull that trade off. And Stasny here on the block, only fits the first line. See what the Capitals have. Craig Anderson on the block, kind of funny to see that. But we could honestly try and trade for Riley Smith, 84 overall. Let's go ahead and see if we can sort of wheel and deal here. He's got 2 years left on his deal, on his sort of contract, 4.9, which isn't terrible. As we can sort of look and see who could sort of fit that trade. Who would I want to end up trading? Like, we could try and trade this guy. Decent prospect. Defenseman, 5'11", top 4 potential medium, second round pick in 2019. He's got 3 years left on his deal. Sort of want him to develop a little bit, but you just don't really know. As we drafted O'Rourke, who's having a much better season than him, sort of similar potential, so we could honestly trade this guy, as that sort of gets us close, but the cap just isn't working right now. We would need them to retain some of that cap space, as it is honestly in our favor to make this trade work. Let's go ahead and see if they'll retain some of the salary, as we actually need them to retain quite a bit. Can ask for like a 15% in sort of retaining his salary, as that'll make it work for the cap. The trade is just so close to potentially working. Let's see if they also want to give away a draft pick. Sort of later rounds, which honestly isn't terrible. Man, could even ask for like a further down the line pick, as you can go ahead and see if that trade will work. Trade rejected, so we'll go ahead and take that third round pick off and see if they'll go for this swap. Trade rejected. Not comfortable retaining salary that you were asking us to keep, so we are going to reject the deal. Let's see if we can sweeten the pot a little bit here with a pick. We can honestly do a late 2021 pick here. Let's go with a 4th round. That might sort of bring it up a little bit just to get things in our favor. Go for that trade. Keeping salary. Wow, that is sort of petty. As let's see how low we can go with this salary. That's 13%. This is as low as it can go. See if we'll get that trade. They're just unwilling to do that. Let's see if we can just sort of drop that salary. See if we can work our way around this. Maybe trade a potential like AHL player that is just sort of taking up some space. with salary. And I'm just going to sort of look down here. Ferraro, Chilovic. I'm just going down through here. Malcolm Carlson is 1.8, 30 years of age. Patrick Marlowe. Man, we might need to say goodbye to Marlowe here, as he's only got 1 year left. Could sort of switch it up and get... I mean, we would have to take somebody out of our lineup anyways, and it probably would be Marlowe. So let's go ahead and throw Marlowe in this trade deal here and see. So the trade now is in our favor, so we can go ahead and try and get a pick here for Riley. Try to ask for this. Let's go 3rd round, 2022. They want to get rid of both, and this sort of would work in our favor. Getting rid of Marlowe, not asking for any retaining salary, keeps us under the cap. Trade block surplus. That said, you're quite off. Wow, value. I mean, we can ask for like a later pick instead, like a 4th round of 2021. See what they get there, and we get Riley Smith, which is awesome to see. Good stuff. So we can go ahead and check out these lines here real quick and see where he will fit into our lineup. Sad to see Marlowe go, one of the golden boys for the San Jose Sharks. But we'll go ahead and get Smith into the lineup here, as he's actually going to get that +3 on our 2nd line, which is awesome to see. As Connolly, can we get him up on the 2nd? Sort of move our lines around. Actually, that'll work there. Keeping Connolly on the 3rd line, sort of boosting sort of our lineup a little bit here. Even though we did lose Marlowe and sort of a potential player in the future, it is sort of the best for our lineup, as that boost. We have 2 solid top 2 lines, even a decent 3rd line. Could maybe upgrade later on down the line, closer to the trade deadline, for a 3rd, 4th line center. But things are looking good, as we are we actually over the cap right now? Are we over the cap is the real question. That would kind of be funny, as we'll advance a day and we'll start simulating through the month of December, see if this trade ends up paying off in our favor. We'll go ahead and simulate to the 15th, as we actually beat... Oh, I don't want Vatanen being traded, so we'll skip that trade offer. Starting off the month strong with a victory against the Flames, just to lose to the Islanders in a shootout. Getting through here, Samela has been injured. Ooh, that's a centerman that we... 3rd line center, which is tough to lose. Gotta see Gramble. Let's see if Gramble fits our lineup here. Substitute him minus. Oh, man. This is not good, guys. Not good at all. As we can't take a minus in our lineup right now. Let's try and get out of this. Cancel the simulation. We're able to somehow still get the victory against the Detroit Red Wings, even with that minus on our 3rd line, I should say. And we need to trade now for a centerman, unfortunately. Yeah, give me just a minute as I will sort of go through here and look at potential, see if there's any trading block players that will fit our lineup. So, unfortunately, unable to make any trades, guys, as I was looking through there trying to find something, but nothing was sort of working. So we're going to have to go with that -1 on our 3rd line for now, as we await sort of word on our injury to that 3rd line centerman, as we sort of are getting through here. Samela is available to play in the next game, but we'll go ahead and simulate without him, as we'll go ahead and throw him into the lineup now to finish out this month of December. The team is pretty good contender status after going ahead and picking up Smith. Let's take a look here, see if Samela is able to go here, as I just don't like playing players on that. Man, I don't like that. I'm going to have to keep him out of the lineup for now, guys. But getting back into the simulation here after sort of looking at that lineup sort of change up, we'll actually go ahead and simulate to the day before Christmas to give Samela enough time to sort of recuperate from his injury. Martin Jones is also available, but we will continue playing without him, as the boys are buzzing pretty well without him in the lineup. able to beat Vancouver but lose to the Los Angeles Kings. I will go ahead and see if those guys are ready to come back into the lineup, and we will go from there. Able to get Samela and Jones back into the lineup without having that sort of injury sort of notifier by them. We will go ahead and simulate up through the rest of December as we look to close out this month strong, beating the Calgary Flames 1-0. Good to see. Beating the LA Kings, which is awesome. Back-to-back here with West. Martin Jones has been injured. Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? Jones has had the injury bug all season. We honestly might need to look to trading Jones, honestly. As it's just not really working with him in our lineup. We're able to win our last 2 games of December as the Sharks are honestly exceeding expectations for this year. Just an absolute crazy performance from the boys here. 55 points. We lead by 10 points at the midway point of the season here in the simulation, with Evander Kane leading the way with 42 points in 41 games, I believe, being played. Good to see somebody at least above the point per game mark. Carlson Burns in the top 3 with points. Ryan Strome having a good first season here with the San Jose Sharks halfway through. Hurdle, Couture, and Meyer, our first line, respective in points, but you want to see a little bit better work with them. Brett Connolly doing pretty well after being bumped down to the 3rd line, and Riley Smith coming over, 8 goals, 14 assists. How many of those are actually with us? Let's take a look here. View full career, 3 goals, 6 assists in 14 games. Not terrible so far with the new team, as he fits in on that 3rd line, or 2nd line, I should say, giving us that +3. But the team is looking good here and performing really well. As we take a look here at the are we contenders is the real question. We are hopeful for our team status, as Martin Jones down with an injury once again this season. He just has that injury bug this year, but he'll return back January 3rd, which isn't terrible, but he could be a potential player we look to trade here at the end of the season, but that will be for you guys to decide. But that's gonna be it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, be sure to drop a like on this video, and also comment down below what you guys want to see with this lineup. As you can see here, we have a decent sort of lineup, as our entire 4th line is an 80 overall. Nice to see. Potentially could trade for another 3rd line, 4th line centerman. And our defense are doing pretty decent. Merkley having a somewhat okay season for a first one in the NHL. But what do you guys want to see? Brett Burns obviously dropping in that overall. Could potentially trade him for a younger sort of up-and-coming defenseman. But that's for you guys to decide. Drop a comment down below what you want to see with the team moving forward. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, be sure to do so you aren't missing out on any future content regarding the franchise mode or Be a Pro series, guys. I hope you guys have a good one, and as always, stay dusty.